the freedoms you enjoy every single day to speak your mind, to have a say in your government, to build a life on your own terms, none of that was guaranteed. Those rights were bought with blood, in a revolutionary war that, by all accounts, was a miracle. But what if that miracle never happened? Imagine waking up tomorrow and the world you know is gone. There's no United States of America. Instead, you're a subject of the British Crown, living in the royal colonies of North America. Your life, your laws, your entire future, they're not yours to decide. This isn't just a quirky historical what-if. This is the world that was just one lost battle, one stroke of bad luck, away from being our reality. The American Revolution was the ultimate longshot. We're re-talking about a ragtag group of colonists, taking on the most powerful military and the wealthiest empire on earth. Most historians agree the rebellion's victory was a fluke, a series of lucky breaks and catastrophic British mistakes that just barely tipped the scales in America's favor. So, let's play out a world where that luck runs out. Let's say the turning point of the war. The Battle of Saratoga goes the other way. Without that crucial American victory, France never enters the war. There are no French ships blockading Yorktown, no French gold to pay the starving Continental Army. The rebellion, out of money, men, and allies, simply withers and dies. General Cornwallis accepts George Washington's surrender, not the other way around. The American dream is over before it even began. What comes next is swift and merciless. A victorious British Empire is in no mood for forgiveness. King George III had already promised to bring the authors and perpetrators of this traitorous design to justice. And the men we know as the Founding Fathers, they're now just traitors. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, they would all be hunted down, tried for high treason, and made an example of. The most famous leaders would likely be shipped to London for a show trial or publicly executed in New York, their deaths serving as a chilling warning to any other colony dreaming of rebellion. And it wouldn't stop with the leaders. The British government, now saddled with the enormous £80 million it cost to crush the revolt, would force the colonies to pay every last penny back through crippling new taxes and reparations. Land and property owned by anyone who supported the revolution would be seized, just as it was from Scottish nobles after their failed uprisings. This land would be handed over to loyalists who kept faith with the crown, or even to the Hessian mercenaries who fought for King George. This isn't just punishment. It's a complete re-engineering of American society. You'd have a new, loyal aristocracy and a permanent underclass of the defeated. The core idea of the revolution, equality, and the chance to build a better life would be extinguished before it ever had a chance to catch fire. So what would daily life be like in this British North America? For starters, forget the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. They were never written. Your rights would flow from British common law, subject to change at any time by a parliament, an ocean-away parliament, in which you have no voice. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, those wouldn't be fundamental rights. They'd be privileges, granted or revoked by the Crown as it saw fit. The rigid British class system would be imported and cemented in place. Bowing to the wealthy and the titled wouldn't be a choice. It would just be the way of the world. The self-made American ideal, the belief that you can rise on merit alone, would be replaced by a society where your birth determines your destiny. The Anglican Church would likely retain its power and influence, especially in the South, suppressing the religious diversity that became a hallmark of the United States. Economically, you'd be trapped. Britain's mercantilist system meant the colonies existed for one purpose: to enrich the mother country. Local industries would be stifled to prevent competition with British factories. All significant trade would be routed through Britain, strangling innovation and growth. and that dream of heading west to claim your own piece of land. Gone the Royal Proclamation of 1763, which banned settlement west of the Appalachians, would be strictly enforced. The British valued that land for the lucrative fur trade, not for settlers. So, say goodbye to the story of westward expansion. The heart of the continent might have remained a vast territory for Native American tribes, or perhaps it would have been carved up between Britain, France, and Spain. The failure of the American Revolution would send shockwaves across the globe. Think about this. The French Revolution was ignited, in large part, by the crushing debt France incurred while helping the American colonists. Without that debt, the French Revolution might have been delayed, or it may have taken a completely different, less radical form. And without the specific chaos of the French Revolution, a brilliant Corsican artillery officer named Napoleon Bonaparte might have remained a minor figure in history. Instead of becoming the Emperor of France, no, Napoleon means the 19th century is unrecognizable. He never storms across Europe, he never dismantles the Holy Roman Empire, and crucially, he never sells the massive Louisiana Territory to a non-existent United States to fund his wars. North America's map would be a fractured mess. The land that became the Midwest might have remained French or even Spanish, and without a powerful USA on its border, Mexico might have held on to Texas, California, and the entire Southwest, making it a far more powerful player on the world stage. Even the horrific issue of slavery would have followed a different path. Britain banned the slave trade in 1807 and abolished slavery throughout its empire in 1833. In this timeline, slavery in North America would have ended by an act of Parliament, not by a devastating civil war. While that avoids the bloodshed, it means the end of slavery would have been on British terms. There would be number 13th, 14th, or 15th Amendments that, at least on paper, granted citizenship and voting rights to former slaves. The struggle for racial equality would be completely different, shaped by imperial decree rather than a battle over America's own founding ideals. Fast forward to today. What does this world even look like? North America is likely a patchwork of different territories. The Royal States of America probably exist along the East Coast, holding a status similar to Canada or Australia within a vastly more powerful British Commonwealth. The culture would feel deeply British. You'd watch the BBC, follow cricket, and celebrate the King's birthday with a public holiday. The very concept of a unique American identity, that bold, revolutionary, independent spirit would simply not exist. The global balance of power would be completely altered. The British Empire, its strength bolstered by the immense resources and population of its American colonies, would have easily remained the world's dominant superpower well into the 20th century. Would the world wars have happened? It's impossible to know. Perhaps a stronger Britain could have deterred German aggression, or perhaps it would have simply led to different alliances and an even more horrific conflict. If war did come, soldiers from the American colonies would be drafted to fight and die for the empire, not for their own country. And that revolutionary fire that America lit around the world, inspiring movements from France to Latin America, it would have been extinguished before it could spread. The Declaration of Independence's radical idea that all men are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness would be nothing more than a forgotten quote from a failed rebellion. The world would be a less democratic, less liberal place, still living under the long shadow of old European empires. This alternate reality is a stark reminder of just how fragile history is. But what do you think? What's the biggest change you would notice in your everyday life? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring these historical what-ifs, do us a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another journey into the worlds that might have been. The world we live in was never a foregone conclusion. It was built on the courage, the desperation, and the astonishing luck of a small group of rebels who dared to challenge an empire. Had they failed, the very ideals that define our modern world, democracy, individual rights, and the right of people to determine their own destiny, might have died with them. You wouldn't be watching this as a citizen of the United States. You would be a subject of an empire, your life defined not by a pursuit of happiness, but by your loyalty to a distant monarch. The American experiment, with all its flaws and ongoing struggles, created something new. Its failure would have meant a very different, and likely a much less free, world for us all.